Good morning. Just wanted to have a general chat today about what I think is going on in cars, and what I've stumbled on is a pretty major problem. I'm kind of starting to wind down now because I'm taking a break next week. But right, check this out. So I started thinking about, the BMW 330e, which is the hybrid BMW with a 2-litre petrol engine that all the company car users were forced into. I've done a video on one before on my channel because one of my best mates had one as a company car. For starters, let's take a look at what the claimed... We'll do fuel economy first, and then I'll just want to talk you through some issues, right? So I found one here on Auto Trader. Okay, so it's a 3 Series, 2-litre, 330e, 7.6 kilowatt hour, right? Now, that is 8 years old. What do you have to pay for an 8-year-old BMW? Because in my head, that's not a very old car. It's only 7.5 grand, which doesn't seem like a lot of money. I'm sure, newer BMWs used to be a lot more money than that, but that's not all right. Let's take a look at the running costs, because they claim on the hybrid car that there you go, look, fuel economy. The average fuel economy claimed for the 330e is 148.7 miles to the gallon, which is way off the real world fuel economy of these cars, because once you finish using up your battery power, you're essentially running around in a 2-litre petrol automatic, quite heavy saloon car, lugging a great big battery. So there's no chance that anybody's getting 148 miles to the gallon out of their 330e. Here you go, look, while I was editing the video, my friend sent me this. So here's a screenshot. 34.4 miles to the gallon is the actual average for that was a 530e, but those are the ones that are all company cars. So when driven normally, 34 miles to the gallon. So we've basically gone back 20 years. Now, as I said, the 330e lugs around a great big battery. And I was thinking, let's say you buy this car for 7.5 grand, right? It's got 100,000 miles on it and it's 8 years old. What happens if the battery fails? So I contacted BMW, and there's a couple of different sides to this video, to be honest, this sort of general chat video. Firstly, I phoned my local BMW garage and got through to someone with an extremely heavy foreign accent, I think Eastern European or something. And she couldn't understand what my inquiry was. So I phoned again and said, can I have the service department? And then I was put through to a second person with an accent that was so heavy I couldn't really understand him. And I thought, that was interesting. This is a premium brand, and yet I can't understand, and they couldn't understand me either. So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, what I said was, I'm looking at buying a second-hand BMW 330e. I wasn't pretending to buy a new one. But what I wanted to know from them was, how much does it cost to replace the full hybrid battery if that should go wrong, because that's the largest, most expensive part of the car. So they said, right, I'll speak to the service department and then I'll send you an email back. I got an email back later on that day, which said to me, it's going to be £544. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's pretty reasonable. But then when I read the email in more detail, that's to replace the 12-volt battery. So it's £544 just to replace the 12-volt battery. So the gentleman completely misunderstood my inquiry, to which I replied on email this time saying, I don't mean that battery, I mean the full hybrid battery. It took another 24 hours for the person to get back to me, but the quote that then came back, there's 6 battery cell modules in the 330e, and I'm waiting for them to confirm whether they can be replaced one by one, or if they all need to be replaced together. If they all need to be replaced together, all 6 at the same time, the quote that does not include diagnosis and INV time, I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, or any additional works that they find, is £10,000. So that means, right, if we go back to my lovely blue 330e on a 2016 plate here, I'm buying a £7,500 car with a £10,000 potential problem. Now for me, what that does, when I'm shopping at the £7,500 budget, I go, ooh, that's a bit too much of a risk, because I'm just going to go and buy something that has similar running costs, probably a diesel, that doesn't come with a £10,000 risk. Okay, now I know there's lots of people that would say, oh well, there's alternatives, and I want to get into that just briefly. So that's my thing on the 330e. So you're buying a £7,000 car with a £10,000 potential battery fault. All right, That's not the only issue with modern BMWs, though. I saw a 7 Series in a video that's going out on Saturday night. You'll see the 7 Series when I'm on a road trip. And when I spec'd one up online, I was able to get my 7 Series to £206,000, which I just thought was absolutely nuts. So give it a go. Go on the BMW website, build yourself a 7 Series and see just how expensive you can get the car. All right, let's ignore the 7 Series for a moment. Modern cars, all modern cars, are being stolen at an alarming rate. I've done a lot about the Jaguar Land Rover vehicles being stolen. Toyota Hiluxes are being stolen at a crazy rate. Kias, Lexus, you name it, they're all getting stolen hand over fist. But not only that, modern cars are having their parts stolen as well. Saw a post from America the other day on a BMW 7 Series, and someone had smashed the windows and stolen the front seats. And we know that steering wheels are being stolen as well. I've made a video about that. So really, like, the case against all, I mean, people like to claim that I'm anti-EV, but I'm not. Like, there are problems with the new car market across all new cars, unless you're going to buy something ridiculously simple like a little Dacia. So it's not just EVs with these issues, and it's not just hybrids with these issues. It is across the board, and I'm getting to a stage where, what would you actually advise someone to buy, right? And then this morning, on an electric car group that I'm a member of, there's a post saying I've got a 2014 Renault Kangoo 22 kilowatt van. It's only got 14,000 miles on it. They've just finished off paying £9,000 of finance, but they've been told by the Renault service centre that it needs a new PEB board of some sort, and the quote was £4,500. So there we have it again. We've got a £9,000 vehicle with half of its value being taken up by this one single board, right? But the comments are really interesting on this post because someone has said that's no different to needing a new engine, and that happens in an internal combustion car. Well, that's correct. But with old cars, engines were never expensive as they are today. You'd never get a £10,000 quote from a company to replace an engine. And again, with the Volvos I drive, like the biggest potential bill you can possibly have is going to be about £1,000. But then there's a comment from someone here saying, I've just had a new gearbox on our internal combustion car, £10,700 because it was under warranty and they had to fit a brand new AF40 gearbox. Also had to have a new torque converter because of fluid contamination and 9 litres of gearbox fluid plus labour, right? So I'm thinking, £10,000 for a gearbox, it must be like a sporty Audi DSG or something like that. No, it's a Vauxhall Zafira, right? Then there's another comment, a brake issue on my Audi A3 last year was quoted at £6,500. Then there's another comment, I just got rid of a 58,000 mile diesel Kia Sportage. It was 10 years old. I thought we'd have it forever. Timing cover gasket leak, suspected head gasket, suspected rear crank seal, no expense spared on maintenance. So people are going from new cars back to old cars because the cost of repairing old cars is just getting ridiculous. We have turned vehicles into throwaway items. Like people just throw away their fridge freezer and replace it, or their TV and replace it when it breaks. Cars are now there as well. And to be honest, I'm preaching to the choir on this. I know that many of my viewers already know this. But the BMW 330e one occurred to me, and I wanted to make that video because there's just so many of them around. And so many business users were forced into the 330e hybrid. And so many of them are not getting 148 miles to the gallon. My friend Craig, as I said, low 30s. This is a chap that used to be driving a Skoda Superb diesel getting 60 miles to the gallon. So the government have incentivised businesses to start buying and using cars that cost twice as much to run. It's utter insanity, and it is the complete opposite of looking after the resources that we've got and saving the planet. And in the context of what I said in my video the other day where I finished up in a Land Rover, there's nothing on that Land Rover that can't be replaced or repaired. Same with the old Volvos that I drive. There's nothing on them that you can't replace or repair with like a month's wages, all right? Let's say something goes wrong and you need to find a month's wages to fix your car. But these Land Rover problems, you know, people are getting quoted £20,000, £30,000 to fix a car. That's a whole year's salary. It's absolute insanity. It's trapping people in debt and it's causing people major problems. You're better off going and buying a 160,000 mile Saab like I did yesterday. But anyway, there's a little bit of hope. There's a little bit of light at the end of this pretty bleak automotive tunnel. Because to be fair to the electric car people, someone is saying talk to Cleveland. Now, Cleveland are an electric vehicle aftermarket repair service, and they specialise in fixing EVs at cheaper than dealer prices, and we know that dealers always overquote. They were fixing i3 electric controllers, or whatever they're called, for about £800, while BMW wanted £12,000. And there's one more comment here that I found. Alfa Romeo wanted £8,600 for a gearbox replacement when I lost first, third and fifth. I bought a second-hand box for £500 and I paid £500 for fitting. Dealers, have your eyes out. Just less qualified EV techs separately. So the aftermarket automotive industry, the independents, are what is going to save the day here, because the dealers are no help when you phone up. They're no help when you're buying the car. They're no help in after sales, and they're clearly no help when major things go wrong. So there's a few things to digest in that shorter video. Tell me about your experience if you've been into a car dealer lately, because I was surprised at just how crap BMW were, both on the phone and on email. And let me know your thoughts on, would you buy a £7,500 car if you knew that underneath the seats was a 10 grand ticking time bomb? And I didn't even mention fires from lithium batteries either. So there we go. That's a quick roundup. I am now taking a break. I don't know if there's going to be any fresh content for the next week, but like what they do on Dave, I'm going to run some reruns. So I'm going to record some fresh introductions to some older videos that you probably haven't seen and that new subscribers won't have seen. So I'll schedule some stuff to go up while I'm away. But it's been a pretty busy week. I drove to Cumbria on Tuesday. I drove down to Poole yesterday. And both of those were really, really early starts. But there's a good video from my road trip to Poole that will go out on Saturday night. So lots still coming up. As I say, I'll be rerunning some old content that you probably didn't see because it was when I had no subscribers. So that's what's happening. We've got a week of reruns. I am taking a break and I'm going to enjoy my wife and children over the half term. So thank you very much for all the support. Thank you for subscribing and liking, and please do continue to subscribe and like, and do watch my videos while I'm away, because there's a good chance that you won't have seen them anyway, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, it makes it really hard to find older content. So I like to resurface some of that stuff every now and then. So that's what I'll do for next week. You enjoy your half term as well, and make sure you go conker collecting, because stuff like that's important. Cheers for watching and thanks for the support.